Welcome, LinkedIn community. I'm Drew Troyer, and in this issue of Take 5 with Drew Troyer, I'm going to introduce my article, Rethinking Maintenance, Why the 89% Rule Doesn't Fit All Assets. In the 1970s, Nolan and Heap did a study in the commercial aviation industry, and they found that only 11% of failures actually have a time dependency, what we call wear-out failures. 89% were either infant mortality failures or they were random. This led to the development, ultimately, of the reliability-centered maintenance process. It was really great research, and it made a great contribution. The problem is it was a little bit over-applied. It fails really to represent certain industries that are wear-heavy industries, the mining industry, the pulp and paper industry. In these industries, the percentage of failures that do actually follow some time or usage-based pattern is much high. As an example, I suspect, based upon my years in the mining industry, that greater than 50% of our failures actually do follow a time dependency. Now, why is this important? Time or usage-based maintenance is just easier to manage in terms of planning and scheduling and work execution. When we're using time or usage-based maintenance, we can make sure we have all of our parts in advance. We can make sure that we have done all of our pre-work. We can get work scheduled into a convenient time, such as a shutdown. So it's just administratively easier to manage than condition-based maintenance. Now, make no mistake, I've spent 35 years advocating for condition-based maintenance, and I think it's very powerful, and we should continue to do it with some caveats and with some adaptations. Condition monitoring alerts us when we have a problem, when we need to do work. So rather than having a time or usage-based task, we have a dynamic task. And the priorities of those tasks can be very difficult to balance because the urgency of the task changes as the condition continues to degrade. So we don't want to, throw, if you will, the baby out with the bathwater. We're not trying to get rid of condition monitoring, but let's not completely exclude the value of time-based changes. So in the mining industry, as an example, an engine tends to follow a time-based rebuild pattern. Liners in a crusher tend to follow a time-based pattern. And we incorporate these into what I call LoPAPs. That is Life of Physical Asset Plans. This identifies everything that you will do during the frame life of that particular component, whether it's a conveyor or a pump, a compressor, a crusher, a truck. It doesn't really matter. Everything that you're going to do, all of your inspections, all of your time-based tasks, all of your statutory or compliance-based tasks, they fit into this LoPAP. And in this LoPAP, we identify norms. So for instance, you might say for a diesel engine, we're going to change every 25,000 hours. And when you get to 25,000 hours, that's not etched in stone. Sometimes we will sweat that asset and push that interval further for some business reason. But when we do that, once you pass that time-based mark, it's very important to become very diligent with your monitoring to provide that backup so that we don't take on unnecessary risk to production, safety, or environmental performance. So the moral to the story and the focus of this article is we must organize and manage our maintenance in such a way that it actually matches real failure patterns for the equipment that we're using, in the industry in which we're using it, and in the conditions and environmental challenges that our equipment faces. Thank you very much. And for more, please do subscribe to and follow Reliable. You can just go to www.reliamag.com. Thank you.